I remember years ago when I was very young. I was a very young child. I don't even think I was a teenager. And my grandfather, I remember my grandfather and big diabetes being talked about. And I remember he was walking at one time because he had a chicken coop. And I used to go to the chicken coop with him all the time. Every time I went over to visit and he went to the chicken coop, I went with him. And I remember I used to always try to take a chicken. He was like, don't you mess with that. He said, you cannot raise them. They will not be able to live at home. They have to stay here. But every time we went, I used to always try to take one. And the little thing would chirp us so much, it always gave me away. He'd say, go over there. He said, stand there. And then he just wait to hear the sound. He said, pull it out, take it out, put it back. And I put it down, just put it on the floor because the whole coop was filled with chickens everywhere. The little baby chicks, chickens everywhere. I used to love to go there. First, I was afraid when I went, but I fell in love with the chicks. But getting back to diabetes, I remember him walking strong and everything. And the next thing you know, he was in a wheelchair. And then I look at his pants leg, and his pants leg was bent. It was folded. And at first, I couldn't understand because I'm like, I didn't even think the fact that he didn't have he didn't have a leg anymore. And once I realized and found out and talked to my grandmother and my mom about it and realized he had to get amputated, his leg amputated, it started with his foot. It started with a toenail. That something happened with that toenail, it got infected, so they had to cut his foot. Then they had to cut the leg. Next thing you know, the other leg. So he come with two, he have no legs now, and he's in the wheelchair. And you just see him, he always have his hand folded. My grandmother would push him to the table when he's eating, and it was really hard for him in the beginning, but after a while he became, it was something he had no control over, so he dealt with it. But I always knew that he was not happy because he could not walk around and move around anymore. He was no longer that man he used to be. And I knew nothing about diabetes, and now gotten older, and I ended up with diabetes. And then I've seen so many people. I always thought anytime a person get diabetes, they got to get amputations. That was exactly my mindset. So I was afraid. And all the people that I remember who had diabetes did have to have amputations. But now I know why, because nobody's diet never changed. Everybody continued to eat and do the same exact things they were doing. The reason that probably led them to the diabetes. But back then, I don't even know if they were educated enough to know that. Right now, we're not really educated to know that because the things that we're getting told, most of it is not what's supposed to be. I reversed my diabetes on my own. I'm now pre-diabetic, and I will be diabetes free soon. But it's some changes that I had to learn and had to make. So guys, if I just wanted to come and share that. I'll see you on the next one.